Picture a gleaming stainless steel sports car, its iconic gull-wing doors lifting gracefully, capturing the imagination of a generation. This car seemed to promise something extraordinary, as if it could travel through time itself. That image, forever etched in popular culture by the 1985 film Back to the Future, has made the DeLorean a symbol far beyond the automotive world. But behind the silver shine and cinematic fame lies a far more complex and sobering reality. The DeLorean Motor Company, the creator of this futuristic vehicle, had already closed its doors years before the film's release. The factory in Northern Ireland, where these cars were painstakingly assembled, had ceased production amid financial difficulties and mounting challenges. The car that audiences came to know as a time machine was, in fact, a real automobile born from ambition, innovation, and struggle. It was a product of a bold vision that ultimately faltered in the harsh world of automotive business. This story is not just about a car frozen in a moment of pop culture magic. It's about the remarkable journey of a man and a machine caught between dreams and reality. To understand this extraordinary vehicle, we begin with the man who dared to leave a giant automaker and build a company from scratch, John DeLorean. John DeLorean was no ordinary executive. His career at General Motors was marked by a string of influential projects that helped shape the muscle car era and redefine performance cars in America. Rising rapidly through the ranks, DeLorean earned a reputation as an innovative engineer and a savvy marketer. He was instrumental in the development of iconic vehicles such as the Pontiac GTO and the Firebird, cars that captured the spirit of the 1960s with their blend of power and style. His ability to connect with younger buyers and push for bold designs set him apart from many of his contemporaries in the conservative automotive industry. Yet, despite his success within GM, DeLorean's ambitions extended beyond the confines of a large corporation. He envisioned a sports car that could combine cutting-edge design with engineering excellence, a car that would stand apart from the typical offerings of the day. This vision was fueled by a desire to create something truly unique, a vehicle that would not only showcase his personal ideals, but also challenge the status quo of the American automotive landscape. By the mid-1970s, DeLorean had become increasingly frustrated with the bureaucracy and slow pace of change at General Motors. His departure in 1975 was a bold move, fueled by confidence in his own abilities and a determination to build a company from the ground up. Leaving behind the security of a major automaker, he set out to create a brand that bore his own name and reflected his vision of innovation and style. Founding the DeLorean Motor Company was as much a personal statement as a business venture. It represented a break from tradition and an embrace of risk. During a period when the American car industry was facing significant challenges, DeLorean's reputation and connections helped secure initial support, but the road ahead was uncertain. He was determined to produce a sports car that would be unmistakably different, not just in performance, but in appearance and engineering philosophy. This ambition led DeLorean to seek out the best design and engineering talent available, setting the stage for a collaboration that would produce one of the most distinctive cars of its time. His experience at GM gave him insight into both the possibilities and pitfalls of car manufacturing, but building a new company meant confronting challenges on an entirely new scale. The climate in which DeLorean launched his venture was anything but forgiving. The American auto industry was grappling with shifting consumer expectations, economic uncertainty, and new regulatory pressures. Against this backdrop, DeLorean's willingness to risk his reputation and resources on a new company was both audacious and deeply personal. He was driven by a conviction that a car bearing his name could capture imaginations and stand as a testament to bold thinking. With his own company founded, the next challenge was to design a car that would embody innovation and style, unlike anything seen before. In the late 1970s, the idea of a sports car clad entirely in unpainted stainless steel with dramatic gull-wing doors was nothing short of revolutionary. John DeLorean sought a design that would break free from conventional automotive styling, something that would immediately stand apart on the road and in the showroom. To realize this vision, he turned to one of the most celebrated car designers of the era, Giorgetto Giugiaro, an Italian stylist renowned for his ability to blend sharp geometry with elegance. Giugiaro's design for the DeLorean was a bold statement, a wedge-shaped silhouette that seemed to slice through the air, emphasizing a futuristic, almost otherworldly presence. The stainless steel panels were left unpainted to showcase their distinctive brushed finish, a choice that underscored the car's uniqueness and set it apart from anything else on the market. The gull-wing doors, hinged at the roof rather than the sides, added a dramatic flourish that became the car's signature. Yet, while the exterior design captivated imaginations, translating this striking concept into a production automobile proved far more complicated. The stainless steel served as the visible outer skin, but it was not part of the car's structural framework. Beneath those gleaming panels lay a fiberglass underbody and a backbone-style chassis, choices made to balance weight and rigidity. Early engineering challenges soon emerged. Stainless steel, while visually impressive and corrosion-resistant, presented difficulties in shaping, fitting, and joining that traditional painted steel did not. These issues contributed to delays and complications during development, as the manufacturing process had to accommodate the unique material properties while ensuring consistent quality. The gull-wing doors, while iconic, also posed engineering hurdles. Their size and weight required robust hinge and support mechanisms, and ensuring proper sealing against weather and wind noise proved tricky. Attention had to be paid to safety, durability, and ease of use, all while preserving the door's dramatic appeal. The ambitious design also raised questions about practicality. The low wedge profile limited interior space, and the stainless steel finish, though striking, could be difficult to maintain or repair. Yet, these were compromises John DeLorean and his team were willing to accept in pursuit of a car that would be unmistakably different. This phase of the project was marked by a tension between artistic vision and engineering reality. The dream of a sleek stainless steel sports car was clear, but turning that dream into a reliable, roadworthy vehicle required overcoming novel technical obstacles. As excitement around the car's appearance grew, so too did the recognition that bringing this design to life would demand exceptional engineering expertise. The next step would be to enlist the help of specialists capable of refining the chassis and suspension to meet the demands of production and driving performance. As the design captivated attention, the challenge became turning this striking concept into a car that could be built and driven reliably. Transforming the DeLorean's bold Italian design into a roadworthy sports car demanded the expertise of one of Britain's most respected engineering firms. Lotus, under the guidance of its visionary founder Colin Chapman, was brought in to tackle the complex challenge of turning concept into production. Chapman's team was renowned for their innovative approach to lightweight construction and handling, qualities essential to the DeLorean's promise of style and performance. Early in the development, the DeLorean project faced significant engineering hurdles, from chassis rigidity to suspension tuning. Lotus engineers applied their experience to create a backbone-style chassis, a design featuring a central spine running the length of the car, providing structural strength without excessive weight. This backbone was paired with a fiberglass underbody, a practical and cost-effective solution beneath the car's striking stainless steel exterior panels. Importantly, the stainless steel formed the outer skin but was not part of the structural chassis itself, a distinction that shaped the car's engineering and manufacturing process. Suspension design was another area where Lotus's influence was clear. Their expertise helped refine the DeLorean's handling characteristics, balancing comfort and sportiness in a package that had to meet production realities. The car's rear-mounted engine layout also posed challenges. The DeLorean used a V6 engine developed through a collaboration between Peugeot, Renault, and Volvo, known as the PRV V6. This power plant was mounted behind the passenger compartment, a choice that affected weight distribution and driving dynamics. The engine was paired with either a manual or automatic transmission, with performance varying depending on the combination. While the DeLorean's futuristic look suggested a high-performance sports car, its actual acceleration and horsepower were more modest, reflecting compromises made during engineering and production. The collaboration with Lotus helped the DeLorean Motor Company navigate these technical complexities, moving the car from an ambitious concept toward a production-ready vehicle. Yet, these engineering solutions also revealed the difficulties of balancing innovative design, manufacturing constraints, and market expectations. The backbone chassis and fiberglass underbody were practical but unconventional choices, and the PRV V6 engine, while reliable, did not deliver the kind of power some had hoped for. These realities shaped the DeLorean's identity as much as its stainless steel skin and gull-wing doors. For many enthusiasts, the DeLorean's engineering story is as intriguing as its visual drama. The partnership with Lotus brought a level of technical credibility that reassured some skeptics, even as compromises were necessary to meet budget and production realities. The choice of materials and layout reflected a careful balance between innovation and practicality, shaped by the pressures of launching a new car company from scratch. These decisions would ultimately define not only how the DeLorean drove, but also how it was perceived by owners and critics alike. With engineering solutions in place, the DeLorean's new factory in Northern Ireland was ready to begin production, bringing the car's story into a complex social and political landscape. Situated near Belfast, the DeLorean factory was more than just a production facility. It was a beacon of hope in a region deeply scarred by economic hardship and political unrest. Northern Ireland in the early 1980s was grappling with the ongoing Troubles, a complex and violent conflict rooted in historical, social, and political divisions. Against this turbulent backdrop, the British government saw the DeLorean project as a means to stimulate the local economy and provide much-needed employment opportunities. With substantial government support, the factory was constructed in Dunmurry, an area that had experienced significant industrial decline and high unemployment rates. The decision to build the factory in Northern Ireland was as much about social and economic regeneration as it was about manufacturing an innovative sports car. For many in the community, the arrival of DeLorean Motor Company promised a chance to rebuild livelihoods and foster a sense of pride amid ongoing uncertainty. The factory's establishment brought hundreds of jobs to an area where work was scarce, offering a rare injection of optimism during a period marked by strikes, security concerns, and social division. However, the environment in which the factory operated was fraught with challenges. The Troubles were not merely a backdrop, but a living reality that influenced daily life. Security measures were often necessary, and the factory's presence intersected with broader political tensions. This context complicated operations and shaped perceptions, both locally and internationally. The DeLorean project became intertwined with efforts to promote economic peace, reflecting the hopes of a community seeking stability through industry. Inside the factory, the ambitious vision of John DeLorean and his team began to take physical form. The production line at Dunmurry was tasked with transforming the futuristic design and engineering innovations into tangible automobiles. Yet, the realities of manufacturing in such a complex setting introduced additional hurdles. Delays and quality control issues emerged, influenced in part by the difficulties of establishing a new facility amid social unrest and economic uncertainty. Despite these obstacles, the factory stood as a symbol of resilience and determination. Its stainless steel-clad cars rolled off the line as proof that innovation could emerge even from challenging circumstances. The workers, many from the local community, contributed their skills and hope to a project that was as much about social impact as it was about automotive achievement. Ultimately, the Dunmurry factory's story is inseparable from the region's history. It embodies a moment when industry, politics, and community aspirations converged in a fragile and uncertain balance. The factory's promise was profound, but it also faced the weight of external pressures that would shape the car's fate. For many workers, the experience of building the DeLorean was their first exposure to advanced automotive manufacturing, bringing new skills and a sense of participation in something that reached far beyond local boundaries. Amid this complex environment, production began, but the car's striking looks would soon contrast with its real-world performance and market reception. Behind its gleaming stainless steel exterior and distinctive gull-wing doors, the DeLorean promised a glimpse into the future of automotive design. Its wedge-shaped profile, crafted by Giorgetto Giugiaro, was undeniably striking, an image that captured the imagination of car enthusiasts and casual observers alike. But while the car's appearance was revolutionary, the driving experience and performance told a more nuanced story. Powering the DeLorean was the rear-mounted PRV V6 engine, a collaboration between Peugeot, Renault, and Volvo. This engine was a practical choice, but it did not deliver the kind of explosive performance that its futuristic looks might have suggested. The car was available with either a manual or automatic transmission, and each configuration offered different driving characteristics. Manual versions tended to provide a more engaging experience, though acceleration and horsepower figures varied depending on the market and specific setup. The DeLorean's performance was competent but hardly groundbreaking, often falling short of the expectations set by its bold styling. Pricing added another layer of complexity. Initially, the DMC-12 name was connected to an early target price, but by the time the car reached customers, the actual cost was considerably higher. This increase reflected the challenges of developing and producing such an unconventional vehicle, especially in the context of economic uncertainty and currency fluctuations. Early buyers, drawn in by the car's allure, soon reported concerns about build quality and finish. While the brushed stainless steel panels gave the car its signature look, some owners noted imperfections in fit and finish, as well as occasional mechanical issues. These early quality concerns contrasted sharply with the image of cutting-edge innovation the DeLorean had cultivated. Still, the car was far from a failure in every regard. Its unique design and the experience of driving a car so visually distinct from anything else on the road created a lasting impression. However, the gap between the DeLorean's futuristic image and its real-world performance and pricing created challenges for the company. Initial excitement and waiting lists demonstrated strong interest, but sustaining that momentum proved difficult. The combination of development delays, rising costs, and early quality concerns contributed to financial pressures. Unsold inventory began to accumulate as the market struggled to fully embrace the car. These realities, subtle yet significant, would soon weigh heavily on the DeLorean Motor Company's future. For many owners, the DeLorean's appeal was as much about presence as performance. The act of stepping into a car with upward-swinging doors and a brushed metal finish was an event in itself, often drawing crowds and sparking conversations wherever it appeared. Yet, beneath the surface, the realities of ownership could be sobering. Service networks were limited, and some buyers found themselves navigating unfamiliar territory when it came to maintenance and support. The car's unconventional construction and unique materials, while visually impressive, sometimes complicated repairs and sourcing replacement parts, adding another layer of challenge to the ownership experience. Despite initial excitement and waiting lists, these realities soon contributed to financial pressures and a mounting inventory of unsold cars. What began as a hopeful venture soon confronted harsh economic realities and operational challenges that tested the company's resilience. The DeLorean Motor Company entered a difficult phase as early enthusiasm for the futuristic sports car gradually gave way to mounting financial strain. Despite initial excitement and waiting lists, the flow of customer orders slowed, leaving a growing inventory of unsold automobiles that weighed heavily on the company's finances. Rising production costs were a major factor. The ambitious design, featuring unpainted stainless steel exterior panels and distinctive gull-wing doors, demanded precision manufacturing and quality control measures that proved challenging to execute consistently. Delays in development and production only compounded these issues, driving expenses higher than anticipated. The factory in Dunmurry, Northern Ireland, was a significant investment, supported in part by the British government, to create jobs in a region troubled by social and political unrest. While the facility brought employment opportunities, the complex political context and local difficulties added layers of challenge to maintaining steady production and supply chains. Economically, the early 1980s were not kind to a niche sports car manufacturer. An economic downturn reduced discretionary spending, and exchange rate fluctuations made exporting the DeLorean to key markets like the United States more expensive. This volatility undermined pricing strategies and squeezed profit margins. The company's pricing evolved during development and production, with the DMC-12 ultimately costing more than the early target price suggested. This shift affected consumer interest, as the car's price positioned it in a competitive segment without the performance credentials that might justify the premium. On top of these external pressures, management faced hurdles in navigating the complex automotive landscape. Coordinating a multinational supply chain, addressing early build quality concerns, and responding to market feedback required nimble leadership and resources that were increasingly stretched thin. The combination of rising costs, production difficulties, economic headwinds, and management challenges created a perfect storm. No single cause can fully explain the company's collapse. Rather, it was the accumulation of financial, operational, and market factors that overwhelmed the DeLorean Motor Company. By early 1982, these mounting pressures culminated in the company entering receivership. Production at the Dunmurry factory came to an end during that year, closing a chapter on a bold but ultimately unsustainable automotive venture. For many employees and local families, the factory's struggles were more than just business headlines. They represented hopes for stability in a region long marked by uncertainty. The promise of new jobs and economic renewal had brought optimism to Dunmurry, but as the company's fortunes faded, so too did the sense of security for those who depended on its success. Meanwhile, enthusiasts and early adopters who had placed deposits or joined waiting lists found themselves caught between anticipation and disappointment as delays and rumors of trouble circulated. The sense of unease grew as unsold cars accumulated, and rumors of financial distress became harder to ignore, casting a shadow over the company's ambitious vision. By early 1982, DeLorean Motor Company entered receivership, marking the beginning of the end for production at Dunmurry. As the financial pressures mounted and the DeLorean Motor Company struggled to stay afloat, John DeLorean found himself in a desperate search for capital. In October 1982, this pursuit took a dramatic and unexpected turn. Federal agents arrested him in a sting operation targeting drug trafficking, an event that instantly captured national headlines and cast a long shadow over his personal and professional life. The operation involved a covert attempt to secure funding through illicit means, a scenario that unfolded far from the public eye until the arrest made it impossible to ignore. The ensuing legal battle was intense and highly publicized, with prosecutors accusing DeLorean of engaging in drug trafficking to save his company. However, the defense presented a markedly different narrative, arguing that DeLorean had been entrapped by government agents who essentially lured him into a situation he otherwise would have avoided. Ultimately, the court accepted this defense, leading to John DeLorean's acquittal. This verdict clarified that he was not convicted of drug trafficking, but the episode nonetheless dealt a severe blow to his reputation and the company's prospects. It's important to recognize that this legal ordeal was not the sole cause of the DeLorean Motor Company's collapse. The business had already been grappling with numerous challenges: development delays, financial difficulties, production issues, and a tough economic climate that had pushed it into receivership earlier that year. While the sting and trial added a sensational chapter to the DeLorean story, they were part of a broader pattern of setbacks rather than the defining moment of failure. The arrest and trial marked the end of John DeLorean's efforts to revive his automotive vision through the original company. Yet, the story of the car itself was far from finished. Despite the legal and financial turmoil, the DeLorean DMC-12 continued to capture imaginations, its unique design and striking presence ensuring that it would remain a symbol well beyond its troubled production years. This chapter of legal drama, while significant, serves as a reminder of the complex realities behind the headlines and the multifaceted reasons behind the company's downfall. For many who watched the headlines unfold, the spectacle of the courtroom drama overshadowed the quieter, more complicated reality of the company's decline. The media frenzy surrounding the case reflected not only the public's fascination with DeLorean's larger-than-life persona, but also the era's appetite for stories of ambition, risk, and downfall. Yet behind the sensational coverage, the collapse of the DeLorean Motor Company was already well underway, shaped by a web of financial strain, operational setbacks, and shifting economic winds. The legal ordeal became a symbol of the desperation that can accompany a failing business, but it was only one chapter in a much longer narrative of hope, innovation, and adversity. For those who had invested their labor and dreams in the Dunmurry factory, the outcome was a sobering reminder of how quickly fortunes could change. Though acquitted, the legal battle marked the end of the original DeLorean Motor Company's dream, but the car's story was far from over. A car once destined for obscurity found new life when Hollywood reimagined it as a symbol of imagination and adventure. In 1985, 3 years after the DeLorean factory had closed its doors, the DMC-12 took center stage not on a showroom floor, but on the silver screen. The filmmakers behind Back to the Future chose the DeLorean for its unmistakably futuristic design. Its brushed stainless steel exterior, gull-wing doors, and low, wedge-shaped profile gave it an otherworldly appearance that few cars could match. This made it the perfect candidate to serve as a time machine, a vehicle that needed to visually capture the audience's sense of wonder and possibility. However, the DeLorean seen in the film was far from the production car that rolled off the assembly line in Northern Ireland. The movie version was extensively modified, outfitted with fictional components like the flux capacitor, time circuits, and the iconic plutonium chamber. These imaginative additions transformed the DMC-12 into a machine capable of time travel, a concept that remains purely a product of cinematic storytelling. The real DeLorean did not possess any such technology, nor was it engineered for the extraordinary speeds or capabilities depicted on screen. It's important to separate the car's actual engineering and performance from the creative liberties taken by the film's production. The choice of the DeLorean was not accidental. The filmmakers sought a car that could convincingly look like a vehicle from the future, one that would stand out from the typical sports cars and sedans of the era. The DMC-12's unique styling and gull-wing doors made it instantly recognizable and lent it a mystique that few other cars could match. This visual impact helped the film create a lasting impression, embedding the DeLorean deeply into popular culture. Back to the Future's success dramatically altered public perception of the DeLorean. While the original company had ceased production amid financial difficulties and legal troubles, the car itself was given a new lease on life as a cultural icon. For many who grew up in the 1980s, the DeLorean is remembered less for its commercial challenges and more for its role as a symbol of adventure, innovation, and the boundless possibilities of the future. This cinematic transformation also sparked a renewed interest in the car among collectors and enthusiasts. The DMC-12's distinctive design, combined with its association with a beloved film trilogy, helped it evolve from a commercial failure into a cherished piece of automotive and pop culture history. The DeLorean's image today is inseparable from the time machine of Back to the Future, yet it remains a real, tangible automobile with a complex story rooted in ambition, design, and industry. The film's portrayal did not rescue the original company, but it ensured that the DeLorean would never be forgotten. Instead, it secured the car's place as an enduring symbol of the 1980s, linking the real-world story of John DeLorean's ambitious project with the imaginative worlds of cinema. Today, the DeLorean continues to captivate enthusiasts and nostalgics alike, its legacy shaped by both the realities of its production and the enduring magic of its Hollywood reinvention. Today, the DeLorean remains a cherished collector's car and a nostalgic emblem of the 1980s, its legacy shaped by both reality and fiction. The DeLorean's story didn't end when the factory doors closed in Northern Ireland. Despite its commercial struggles, the car found a new life far beyond the showroom floor. Its striking stainless steel body, gull-wing doors, and wedge-shaped profile captured imaginations and set it apart from anything else on the road. Over time, dedicated owner communities formed, devoted to preserving and maintaining these unique machines. Enthusiasts carefully restore and celebrate the DeLorean, keeping its spirit alive through car shows, clubs, and ongoing care. This passion, combined with the car's unforgettable appearance, helped transform it from a struggling product into a cherished collector's automobile. Then there's the cultural boost from cinema. Although the DeLorean's time-traveling adventures belong purely to fiction, the film Back to the Future immortalized the car in popular culture. Its futuristic design perfectly suited the role of a time machine, making the DMC-12 an icon of 1980s nostalgia and imagination. Today, the DeLorean stands as a fascinating example of how design, story, and community can elevate an automobile beyond its original commercial fate. Whether you first encountered it on the streets or through the silver screen, it invites us to revisit a moment of bold ambition and creative vision in automotive history. When did you first come across the DeLorean, on the road or in the movies? If you're curious about more stories like this, subscribe to explore the rich history behind the cars that shaped our past.